Good morning. I want you to think about the last time you truly failed. Not a small mistake, like burning the toast. I mean a real, gut-wrenching, knock the wind out of you failure. Maybe it was a business you poured your life savings into that folded. A promotion you were certain you'd get that went to someone else. A relationship you thought was forever that ended abruptly. Or maybe it was a personal goal. Running that marathon, writing that book, getting healthy. And you just stopped. You gave up. Remember the feeling? That heavy, cold stone in your stomach. The silence that feels louder than any noise. The voice in your head that whispers, "I knew it. You're not good enough. You don't have what it takes." Sound familiar? We live in a world that worships success. We scroll through highlight reels of people's lives, seeing only the victories, the perfect vacations, the corner offices. We're told to fail forward, to embrace failure, as if it's some trendy accessory. But let's be honest, in the moment, failure doesn't feel like a lesson. It feels like a verdict. It feels final. It hurts. It's embarrassing. And the last thing you want to do when you're lying flat on your back is listen to someone tell you how great it is to be down there. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to tell you that failure is fun. It isn't. But I am here to tell you something that I believe with every fiber of my being. That feeling, that rock bottom, gut-punched, I can't do this again feeling, is the most potent, untapped source of power you will ever have. The trick isn't to pretend it doesn't hurt. The trick is to learn how to process the pain and forge it into something useful. So how do we do that? How do we actually start again? Not with blind optimism, but with real strength. It starts with a 3-step process, and the first step is the hardest. When a project fails, what's our first instinct? To run, to hide, to distract ourselves. We binge watch a series. We blame the economy. We blame our boss. We blame our partner. We do anything to avoid sitting with the wreckage. I'm asking you to do the opposite. For a limited time, and I mean limited, give yourself a day, maybe 2. You are allowed to feel sorry for yourself. Wallow. Eat the ice cream. Be miserable. It's a funeral after all. You have to mourn the death of that dream. But after that time is up, the mourning is over. You put on your lab coat, and you conduct an honest, clinical autopsy. Not an autopsy of you. An autopsy of the attempt. This is a crucial distinction. You didn't fail. The attempt failed. Take out a piece of paper and get brutally honest. No emotion, just facts. What were my assumptions? Which ones were wrong? Where did I lack information? What skills did I overestimate? What skills did I need but didn't have? Where did I ignore a red flag because of my own ego or enthusiasm? What part of this was my responsibility, and what part was genuinely out of my control? This isn't about beating yourself up. This is about gathering data. Failure is the most expensive, but most effective, data-gathering tool in existence. You just paid the price for it, so you might as well collect the report. Don't let that pain go to waste. Step 2. Separate your identity from the outcome. Once you have the data from your autopsy, you can move to the next crucial step: emotional detachment. We tie our self-worth so tightly to our achievements. The business fails, so I am a failure. The relationship ends, so I am unlovable. The project gets rejected, so I am not creative. This is a lie, a dangerous one. Your value as a human being is not determined by your last success or your last failure. Think of a scientist. A scientist can run 100 experiments. 99 of them can fail. Does that make them a bad scientist? Number. It makes them a good scientist. Because each failed experiment tells them what doesn't work, getting them one step closer to what does. You are the scientist. Your life is the lab. The failure was just a failed hypothesis. That's it. It's information. It's not an indictment of your character, your intelligence, or your worth. The power you gain here is the power of perspective. The ability to look at a setback and say, that was a painful outcome, but it does not define me. You've mourned. You've performed the autopsy and gathered your data. You've separated your identity from the outcome. Now what? You don't just jump back in and try the exact same thing again with more enthusiasm. That's not resilience. That's insanity. Instead, you use your data to build the next prototype. Notice the word prototype, not a masterpiece, not a final, perfect version. Just the next attempt, informed by what you've learned. If your business failed because you ran out of cash, your next prototype has a better financial plan. If your relationship ended because of poor communication, your next prototype of yourself is one that practices active listening and honest expression. If you failed to run the marathon because you got injured, your next prototype includes a proper training plan and listening to your body. The power you gain from failure is not a sudden superpower. It's the quiet, steady confidence that comes from knowing you are now smarter than you were before. You are more prepared. You are more aware of the pitfalls. You're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. This is the beautiful, painful, and realistic truth. Failure carves out a space inside of you. At first, that space is filled with pain and disappointment. But over time, if you do the work, you get to fill that space with wisdom, with resilience, with humility, and with a strength that you could never have achieved if you had succeeded on your first try. Look around you. Every single person you admire has a graveyard of failures behind them that you will never see. The difference between them and those who stay down is not that they didn't fall. It's that they learned how to conduct the autopsy, protect their identity, and build the next prototype. Again, and again, and again. There's a Japanese art form called kintsugi. When a piece of pottery breaks, they don't throw it away. They meticulously put it back together using lacquer mixed with powdered gold. The belief is that the piece is more beautiful for having been broken. The cracks are not something to hide. They are part of its history, and they are what make it unique and strong. Your failures are your cracks. Don't hide them. Don't be ashamed of them. Perform the autopsy, extract the data, and then fill those cracks with the gold of experience. Your story isn't over. The best part hasn't been written yet. The power you've been looking for isn't in avoiding the fall. It's in the getting back up, not as the same person, but as someone stronger, wiser, and ready to build again. Now, go pick up the pieces. Thank you.